Hello everyone, this is Witcher with the Twin Flame, the Twin Within Energy Report for the week of July 8th through July 14th. So, today, I'm sorry this is coming out a little bit late, and also I just wanted to say that I had noticed that several of my videos in the past had a lot of really scratchy audio, and I'm really sorry about that. I'd actually changed my setup. I'm using basically a laptop pointing in the opposite direction, and because I've changed the setup, the microphone is actually a lot closer to me than it was in my previous setup, and so I was hitting some really I think the mic levels were maxing out, and there was getting some scratchiness in there, and it sounded pretty awful. I went back and I watched a couple of those, and I was like, ooh, that sounds bad. So my apologies for that. I have tested the microphone levels, and I've put like a piece of material in front of the microphone. I think that's going to help. Hopefully that will help. So, because nobody likes listening to scratchy audio. Anyway, getting started. All right, so what I do here is I draw one card for the feminine energies, one card for the masculine energies, so that you can take a look at these energies as how they relate to you. We all have feminine and masculine energies within us. One of the things that I like to suggest is that if you identify yourself as a divine masculine, then you kind of pay attention to the feminine energy card, because that's where you're going to get your greatest opportunity for growth. However, and likewise, if you identify as the divine feminine, then you pay attention to the masculine energy card, because that's where you're going to get your greatest opportunity for growth. However, both cards apply to everyone, because we're not just one or the other. We are definitely a mix of both masculine and feminine energies. So certainly you can pay attention to both cards, as they will, if you're watching this, relate to you, give you some kind of insight as to the energies that you're dealing with for the week and how you might want to approach them or think about what, how you're doing things in life for this week. So that being said, let's get on to the card that I drew for the feminine energy. So that card is the Four of Pentacles, or the Four of Coins. It's so, I have my own way of reading the tarot. I've mentioned this before, and certainly one of the areas that I diverge from a lot of people who read the tarot is that for me, there are no negative cards in the tarot. So a lot of people, when they get the Four of Pentacles or the Four of Coins, they'll say, "Oh, it's a negative card. You're holding on too tightly to things." So the Pentacle cards, the Pentacle suit, deals with materials, material goods on Earth, here on Earth, right? This is the material plane. We have material bodies and material things, and this suit deals with materialism. So for me, the Four of Pentacles represents not that you're holding on too tightly, but that you're being frugal. Frugality is keeping track of your materials, keeping track of what you have and what you need. Frugality is the opposite of being frivolous with your goods that you have, with your resources, right? Because we don't have infinite resources on hand. Now, a lot of people, including myself, believe that there are infinite resources available to us. But what you have in your direct control is not infinite. It is finite. And so frugality is a good thing, being frugal. it's kind of knowing the difference between what's an expense versus what's an investment. Um, you can spend your money or time on investments, um, or you can spend them on things that are merely expenses, that something that's not going to give you a return on your investment, right? And the Four of Coins to me says that you're focused on understanding the difference between an investment and an expense, and that you're being frugal with your resources, and that you're not being frivolous with them. And so with the Four of Pentacles coming up for the divine feminine energies, this tells me that that we do need to pay a little bit more attention to how we're using our resources, whether it be time, money, what have you. How are we using it? Are we being frivolous, or are we being frugal? And especially time. Everyone says time is money. And what I've been taught is that time is not money. Time is everything. You can always make more money. You can never make more time. Once you spend that time, it is gone. You'll never get more of it. So especially be careful with how you're spending your time. It is the greatest value that you have in this world. How you spend your time and what you focus on. Ooh, don't I know that well? Okay. Now moving on to the masculine energy. So the card that we get for the masculine energy, this is another card that I disagree with many tarot readers, right? So a lot of people who read the tarot, they see the Three of Swords as being a very negative card, a card of heartbreak and I don't know. It's just they see it as a kind of a tragic card. So I have a little bit different take on that. For me, the Suit of Swords, it's all about thoughts and discernment, right? So discernment. What are three swords going through a heart? That looks pretty bad. So there's something called no sacred cows, right? There's a phrase called no sacred cows, and this comes from the idea of in India, for the Hindu population in India, the people that don't eat meat, and they see the cow as sacred because the cow gives so many things. It's labor, you get milk from it. There's a lot of great things that come from the cow. So like you don't ever kill cows, and for these people, for the people of the Hindu religion, and they're considered sacred, right? So the idea came up, I don't know when, was that when you're looking at ideas, you have a bunch of ideas, or you have a bunch of things, let's say in a business setting, where you're going to put stuff up on the chopping block. And, you can only keep so many things. Everything has to be reviewed to determine if it's going to stay or if it's going to go. And this is where the saying no sacred cows. So the idea was that there can be no part of the business or the organization or the ideas that you're looking at, whatever it is, none of them get any special treatment. They all have to be evaluated to see if they're going to stay or they're going to go. So the idea for me with the Three of Swords card is that the idea behind it is that sometimes you have ideas that you just love. You're just in love with this idea. You got this great idea. Oh, I got this great idea. I love it. Your heart, it's just like from the heart. You bought into it completely. However, sometimes, no matter how much you love that idea, you get to the point where you realize that it's just not gonna work. It's just not. No matter how much you love it, no matter how good that idea really is, that in the current situation, it's just not going to work. And you got to let it go. You got to let it go. And that's what the Three of Swords is. Because it hurts. It hurts letting go of the ideas that you have that you're passionate about, or a vision that you have, or a dream, or something that's in your head and in your heart at the same time. But your head is saying, unfortunately, it's not going to work. We've got to let this go. And it hurts your heart, right? So that's where the thoughts are coming down and stabbing the heart and saying, sorry, but we got to let this one go. We just got, we'll put it on the shelf and pull it out some other time. Maybe it's going to work, some other time or some other situation. But for right now, it's good. It's got to go. So for me, that's what the Three of Swords in the upright position means. It's not a bad thing. Hurts a little bit. That's okay. But in the reverse position, what that means is that you do have an idea, you do have a vision, you have a dream, and it's not working out, but you're resisting letting it go. You're resisting it. You don't want to think about it. You're not ready to admit it. Your heart's still too tied into it. You got it. You're holding on. And so, for the divine masculine energy, basically, Three of Swords in reverse is telling me that there's something that you're very passionate about, or something that you really love. It's an idea, a vision, something or other, and you resist, and it's not working out. It's not working out, and you gotta let it go. So there's something going on there that we gotta let go for this week. That it's been brewing for a while, because we've kept trying, and it's just not working out. So take inventory, take stock of what's going on in your life. That you just keep trying, and it ain't working. Doesn't mean it's never going to work. It just means that right now it's not going to work. So don't be afraid to let things go. You can always try them again later. It's okay. So that's for the masculine energy. All right. And then for the final card, we have an oracle card from the Enchanted Map series by Colette Baron-Reid. I really love it. And we have Wide Open. Wide Open. It's a really pretty card. I love the Enchanted Map series. It's just I love the artwork, and I really like the messages, and I especially like the idea of an enchanted map guiding us all through our spiritual awakening journey. I think that's just so fitting. So 42, and as always, I'm going to read this. All right, Wide Open. You are free to express your uniqueness to the world and share in all the bounties of life's endless possibilities. So, in the uprights, all manner of opportunities are presented to you at this time. The Wide Open card is a signal that you're able to truly manifest your dreams and that your goals are in sight. Don't remain small and contracted. Instead, expand your horizons beyond what you believe to be your limitations. You have a unique voice that needs to be expressed in the world. The universe is supportive of new ideas and approaches at this time. So speak up, and speak out. This card is the sign of the maverick who freely roams the wide open spaces of possibility. Allow for a greater vision to replace old ideas as you dream a grander dream. Okay, wow. So I think that works really well for these two cards. However, I'm going to make a modification on what I said about the Four of Pentacles. So the last little bit there was don't play small and allow for a greater vision to replace old ideas as you dream a grander dream. So certainly with the Three of Swords in reverse, it's saying go ahead and let go of those, how you see yourself, your own limitations. These are the stories that we've been telling ourselves all our lives. And we keep telling them because it's what we know. It's what we're used to. It's what we're comfortable with. And sometimes it's really scary to allow yourself to be something different than what you've always been, because we don't know how that's going to work out. We don't know if people are going to accept us. We don't know if it's going to help us in what we want to do. It's really daunting to try and be somebody different, even if it's just within your own mind, to say I'm a different person than what I used to be. So go ahead and try and let go of the image of who you think you are, in order to allow yourself to be something more than that old image. To be what you currently are, not what you used to be. Okay? And then the other thing is, so I'm making a modification on this card, because it talked about stop playing small. So the thing about being frugal is that being frugal means, well, I've only got so many resources, and I need to be careful. But sometimes when we're too careful, we keep ourselves pinned in. We don't allow ourselves to grow. All right. So any business that wants to grow has to take out a loan. They have to extend themselves further than what they can currently do in order to grow. Right? They have to take a gamble. So sometimes when you're being frugal, you forget to take a gamble. And so I think that's what we're saying is, yeah, you want to be responsible, but you also want to give yourself the ability to grow past your current capabilities right now, or your current setup. Maybe not even your capabilities, but just kind of like where you are right now, to grow past that. So you allow yourself to reach out, to stretch, to extend yourself further, so that you can become that bigger person. Do that other thing, right? Stretch beyond your current boundaries. And remember, I don't say limitations, I say boundaries, because a limitation is kind of a set thing, but a boundary is something that you create. And so you can always move that boundary when you're ready to. And I think that's what the wide open card is saying, is that it's time to stretch those boundaries. And don't get too caught up in being careful that you don't allow yourself the ability to stretch and grow. All right, that is it. I am going to, I had a request from Mary Ellen from Moonrise Cottage, and she asked if I could do a draw for the upcoming partial eclipse that's happening on the 12th. And I thought that was a great idea, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will post that video separately. All right, have a great week, and I will talk to you all later.